But there has to be something that defines the directions of up and down.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no bias. There's an effect. And yes, I agree, there would be something that causes that effect.
Okay. So then there's a bias.
This law of relative
Then there's a bias.
So percentage. What defines the directions of up and down? How do you know which way is up and which way is down?
What do you mean? The less dense thing going up.
How do you know which way is up? How do you know which direction is up and which direction is down?
I'm answering the question for you. So the less dense thing in the more dense medium would be going up. That's how you know it's up, because less dense things are moving in that direction, okay? And more dense things are moving in a different direction, and that's how you know it's down. Good?
Okay, so percentage, just really quick. If you've got, let's say you've got a screwdriver.
Conda, the wannabe porn star. Here you go.
Okay, so now we're good with the directions of up and down, but now we want to know a bit more about it. We want to know why things move in those directions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what causes the bias?
We don't know. That's just how it's created so far.
Cool.
This is what I'm just about to say. Percentage. If you've got let's say you've got a big spanner on it. It doesn't matter what. It just weighs something. And it's on a table, and it's right near the edge of the table, right? And I put a clamp on the spanner so it doesn't move. It doesn't move its equilibrium or anything, but I put a quick release mechanism on it, and I take the table out from under it, and it hasn't moved laterally, longitudinally, vertically, horizontally, or anything. It's still in its same space, which is the logic that you're using. So I could take the table away and release the spanner, and in your logic, it should stay there.
The spanner is in air. It's more dense than the air. It's constantly going down. You have a table physically impeding it. You move away.
I know what you're going to say.
Impeding it, it's going to fall until the ground physically impedes it. Until it keeps on going down. Like, let's say you dug a hole that was so kind of like, or it was in water or something like that. It's going to keep on going down until it reaches its equal density, right? The medium is equal density. It's going to be neutrally buoyant. And then at that point, and then again, and this is if there's no other forces like, superseding it or overriding it. And at that point, it'll be buoyant and it'll stay where it is.
Exactly!
Shit.
So percent, right? We've got plumb bobs that always measure parallel, right? Water that always measures level, right? Hold on, Mr. Wannabe Porn Star. Hold your horses.
I don't know where you got that from. Might be the name.
Well, Jazzaconda. Jazzaconda, that's kind of the name of a wannabe porn star. Right? I'm sure you do, boy. I'm sure you do.
Troy.
Hey, just so you know, I didn't come up with it. But anyway, carry on.
Look, I don't care who came up with it. You're running with it. So that makes me wonder. But anyway, percent, right? Right. So anyway, so we have this bias of up and down, right, on the globe model, right? Which gravity gives us this bias of down, right, to what we know, right? So on the flat Earth model, we have this also to this bias of up and down as well, right?
Hold up,
so
would it be a bias of up and down? Does that make sense?
Well, most things seem to, right, go down. Right, unless they're really, really light, right? They seem to go down.
Only in air.
So of course, well, in air, sometimes in water, sometimes, right? Sometimes
but if we were deep, like ocean-dwelling creatures, where the pressure gets really, really high and it gets really dense, then all of these objects we're talking about are all going to go up.
Okay. So we have that relatively density type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And we have a dome over the top of us for argument's sake.
Well, I don't know about the dome. No.
Well, okay, call it a dome, call it a bubble, call it a balloon, call it whatever you want, right? If you're on a plane, you know what? To go, I don't really know, but I'm going to argue.
Let me just speak to that real quick. Let me speak to that. So, in terms of what's up there, I don't know the nature of the heavens, right? I don't know how it works. I don't know what's up there. So I don't know if a dome is necessary up there. I can't say that it exists, because if I was to do that, I would be making the same mistake that Globers do. I'd be affirming the consequent. I'd be assuming that it's the same nature up there.
You can affirm the
Percentage. I
consequence
just got a
or
question
not.
for you. Where'd you get this idea that when you go deep enough, things start floating up?
Depends on the
And
pressure and density.
And secondly, a dome's definitely not necessary because we've got a pressure gradient that goes to zero. So
Fuck your
Fish lays
pressure
eggs. There's
gradient.
dead fish down there.
Water is
I mean,
incompressible. It
no
doesn't
Water, the
increase.
pressure
No idea
gradient
what he's
doesn't
talking
change
about.
the density
Yeah.
hardly at all.
fuck your pressure gradient. Is that what you just said? Holy shit.
Water's incompressible
Exactly. That's what I
now?
said.
But it's not, is it? If it wasn't,
It is exactly what-
On the scale
pressure
of Earth's
differentiation,
oceans,
right?
it might as well be.
No,
So
water.
Yeah,
now,
surface it might as well be.
regardless, right?
No, like
we
the whole
still had
ocean.
to have had
All the way
a
down.
bias caused by a creator. Perhaps that creator caused the
Well,
bias.
everything was caused by the creator.
Okay, so now my question is, what keeps this bias in check?
There is no
What
bias.
keeps it in check? Well, there is kind of a little bit of a
No, there's a
bias.
system, like, there's a system of up and down
this
of
is-
relative density. But
which
don't
is
say
a
bias,
bias.
because that's wrong.
Of course. Why? Because you want to get nitpicky over words. Let's now debate
Words are important,
the
man.
definition of level, right? Because level can be curved can be straight, like depending on who you talk to. Right? So if you want to get nitpicky
Well,
over a
curves
word
can
of
be straight.
using bias
For
over
something to fall
direction
down,
or
it
whatever,
has to have energy in it,
that's
right?
you. That's not me.
Like it
Right.
has to be energized. Whatever's
I'm
falling.
Go ahead,
here-
make your point, Bansal, but it is an important distinction.
Well, I'm not here. I'm not here to win a point with you, percentage. I'm just here asking a simple question, like what would
Go ahead.
cause that bias? Like what would cause that bias of up or down?
Yeah, the most
Right.
immediate thing,
In the bigger picture, apart from relative density, like what caused that bias in the first place? to go,
Bensor.
You know what?
Yeah,
this
you're
is the
asking
relative
what-
density.
I
Right?
got
What
you.
keeps the relative density in check?
I
If
got
you know
you.
what I mean? Because
Yeah.
the relative density on a globe model is the gravity, right? That's the magic toad, if you know what I mean.
So you're asking, like, what caused the system of
Okay.
relative density? Or in other words, why do we have relative density? Right?
Bensor
The answer is-
percentage.
Hold up. Let me just answer his question.
Hold on,
The
guys,
most
I'm talking
immediate
about
cause, we
percentage.
don't know. We don't know what the most immediate cause is.
Okay, so what's your thought on it? What's your thought on it? I don't care what
I don't
you
know. I literally,
because-
I can't even, I can't even fathom what it would be.
So you
All
got
I
no
know is
thought on
that
it? You got no
at
thought
the
on it?
end of the, hold up, let me just finish answering. At the end of the line, we know it's the creator, right? If there's like
Okay.
an intermediate kind of like, way to understand how this thing happened, I could ask you the same thing. Why do we have any of the physical laws of the universe? Like, why do we have,
Exactly.
the conservation of momentum, all this stuff, how they come to be? It's just how it's
Yes,
created. We
like,
don't know more than that.
It's just one quick question.
Eddie
For
Monk
something
turned
to
the sky.
fall, for something to fall, it has to be energized, right?
I don't know about that.
Something can't fall unless it has energy in it.
I don't know about that. I disagree. Kind
It
of.
has
Why
potential
would you
energy.
say that? What is falling? Nothing falls unless it's been lifted up.
Or unless you
True.
make a hole under it.
But does that mean that you're transferring energy to it as you lift it up, or what have you? I don't know.
The only way for something to be lit is for anything to go up where it can fall back down. It has to have energy and put into it.
I guess, work has to be done. If you, technically
Yeah,
speaking,
so
you're
how
not really
could
putting in
gravity- how
energy,
could
but you're
gravity-
expending energy.
Yeah, so how could gravity be a force down if it takes a force and energy to lift the damn shit up?
Okay, Dallas.
You could have both. They're not mutually inclusive.
Dallas
So it's
Bensor.
no, one of them is mutually inclusive. For something to be lifted up to fall down, it has to have energy put in. It has to be energized.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be energized, but you do have to expend energy, do work, lifting it up.
That wouldn't have to be energized. A piece of sand, the smallest thing, a gas molecule would have to be energized. Has to be heated up to go up.
Well,
Yeah,
consider
for
this
those
an
types
alleg-
of things. Yes, for
Consider this, Dave.
if you're using
If you-
heat or something like that. Go ahead.
So,
It
Well,
doesn't
wait a
matter
minute.
what it has to have energy put into it.
so at least you know that heat
Spring-
rises.
So if
the
you put a
spring won't
vacuum,
push anything unless you push back against the spring. Does that mean that there's no force in the spring?
well, you had the initial compression of the spring. The spring, when it's not there is no compression on it, is just sitting there now, right?
Sure, and
That is
unless
right.
an object is at the bottom of the gravity well, it has potential energy.
So the only thing that you could claim that would have gravity would be meteors or something that's coming that you cannot verify where it came from.
No, this
Everything
isn't about it
else-
having gravity. This is about how it behaves in the gravity well.
No, you say everything has gravity, which is a force, but it takes a force to lift up to get a force to go back down. So how does that make any sense? It's a dead loop.
Well, if something's down, then that force has already acted on it.
Yeah, and until you
The
lift
force
it up,
is
there's no
constantly acting on them. If it's
Well, yeah,
not
I
at
mean,
its
to
equal
get it
density,
to that
it's
point.
constantly acting on it. It's just being physically impeded.
Right, that's why I said unless it's at the bottom of the gravity well, it has potential energy.
No,
Interesting.
Anyways, I hope I answered your question, Spencer.
You kind of did, man, but you kind of didn't at the same time, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? Which it probably does.
I know what you mean, but I don't think I did that.
What about you, Jazza? Are you any clearer? Mr. Jazza.
Yeah, I'm right here. There, big fella.
Mr. Jazza wannabe. Have you got a porn mode, Jazza? Just like actually, don't tell me. Don't tell me actually if you do have a porn mode.
No, I don't.
I don't really don't.
I don't,
So,
but now you make me think I should harvest one.
well, look, you can harvest what you want, Mr. Jazza, right? You
How
can
can we
do
have a downward
what you want.
force if it takes energy to have something fall down? Can somebody fucking explain that?
I can't, David. I can't.
Bandy,
Sir-
I think you need to ask David if he's got a porn mustache.
How can you have a downward force unless you lift something up and then fucking drop it? Come on,
Gravity.
explain it.
The force is
Well,
there even before you lift it. There's just something acting against it.
The gravity only has the force of what of the same amount of energy in it that you put into it to lift it up to the same height that you're going to drop it from.
Have you
So,
ever dug a hole?
Hang on. Sorry,
Look.
sorry. Go ahead, Digital. Do not.
Have you ever dug a hole, David?
I find it surprising, Davros.
We won't
Right,
talk
that's
about
what I-
Bandy.
This is
thought
what I find
Talk about you and
surprising,
ditches,
David.
mate.
This is what I find surprising, right? When I use a plumb bob,
Lips.
sorry, David, man, I overspoke you. We're cutting out a bit. Is he going? This is what I find surprising, Davros.
Let's get
right?
about gravity, right? Gravity if gravity is a downward force, but it takes a force to lift it up so it can drop.
Just
How
dig
does
a
that
hole
work?
under it, David. Just dig a
How does
hole.
that make the Earth round? If the Earth, the only way that you can measure gravity is by lifting something off the damn Earth.
Dallas,
So,
what
David, if you
causes-
kick a rock down a well, did you lift it up?
But what causes...
Well-
No, hang on. This is the better one. What
Yes,
causes
Yes.
horizontal mine shafts to collapse?
Well, you know what's even more interesting, Davros? Like when I use plumb bobs next to a mountain, right? They're never off
Oh, they get
kilter.
Yeah,
They're
that's
never
quite
off
interesting.
kilter. Right?
Actually,
Never
they
off
are.
What would it mean
Ah.
for it to be off kilter?
Right? They're never off kilter.
Actually, I
How
need
would
you
you
to
know
show
if
me
it was?
evidence. I need you to show me
now,
evidence of that,
You
mate.
want
Come
you
on.
want to point out to me, Mr. Schlong Mountain in Scotland, that apparently has a plumb bob that
You
it
mean
doesn't do this.
Schahalian?
Yeah,
Schahalian mountain.
Mr. Schlong Mountain, exactly. You know exactly the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
Right.
Slacker here doesn't do citations very well. You got to watch him.
Yes, well, he can or he can't.
I'm not
right?
even trying to cite anything. I'm just asking how would you know if the plumb bob was off kilter?
Oh, exactly, right? Exactly. How would you know? How would you know?
Because of
That was my
zero
question.
point.
Yes.
No. Well, they all look to be pretty much on kilter.
No, you know how you do it. I know how you do it.
Did you look at
get
it?
its latitude, you get the plumb bob's latitude and longitude, and then you'll know that it's not of completely vertical.
I think you need an inclinometer in order to determine this.
Wait,
I find it hard to believe that it was looked at if, it wasn't seen to be off kilter. Very hard. actually.
Bandy, all it was there was a hopscotch grid underneath it, and they saw that it went from the middle square to one of the others closer to the
Well,
mountain.
they didn't really do this because the only way they could kind of work it out in the first place was going, let's hang a plumb bob and let's compare it to stars that are in an apparent location far, far, far away from me.
What?
Mm.
They did it
Don't
during
you know-
the day.
Oh, don't you know the old wives' tales about Mr. Shlong Mountain?
Oh, I didn't know you were an old wife.
Right?
hey, do you think that gravity came from asteroids?
What?
Like people the
God.
original
Okay, guys, I have formally apologized for my countryman. He obviously hit his head
I
as a
seriously
child.
just had to put my hand into my hands and start shaking my head.
I
That was the
seriously-
dumbest thing I've heard, I think,
I
ever.
seriously,
in years.
I seriously
I'm going
apologize.
to get
to my
another pair of
countryman.
oven mitts.
The only thing that
the-
came from an asteroid apparently was slime that crawled onto a rock that then formed us.
Well,
That's the only thing that came from an
No, that was
asteroid.
Venom.
Superman
All
came
right.
from an asteroid, didn't he? One.
But hang on, there's a slight problem
was
here.
David,
hang on.
So
David, hang on. There's a slight problem. I've had to take a week and a half off from Everett Anderson's videos because I've run out of oven mitts and my padded room is not yet completed.
Well, you have
Yeah,
a
I saw that.
sad life. Oh, you have a sad life, Davros.
What do you mean? Everett posted
If
3
you are
videos in a
actually
row.
watching,
My
you're
forehead
actually
was
watching
red.
Flat Earth, Globe Earth videos ad nauseum, you have a pretty sad life, my friend. Just putting
I'm starting to think.
putting that one out there. Right, if this
Yeah,
is
I'm
what
starting
you're
to
doing
think-
ad nauseum, right, watching Flat
I'm
Earth,
starting to
Globe
think
Earth,
Everett's videos need to be
things,
labeled as weapons of mass face
like,
palmation or
it
something.
is-
Destruction.
It is fairly sad. Like, why aren't you watching ad nauseum videos on wood whittling? For argument's
Actually,
sake.
I watched a good one
Ah.
on what welders say.
Is-
Well, there you go, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
the
sure
best
you
one.
can
Because some of
find
us enjoy
way
having
more
sex,
hits
Ben.
on that.
But
Right,
here's,
way
here's a
more
good one
hits
for
on
you,
that.
Bandy. I'll give you a good one, right?
But
Bloke walks up to a
fuck
welder and
you.
goes, "If you got change for $1," hands him a stack of dimes, and he goes, "Fuck, that's hot."
But it's pretty
Oh.
sad that you've watched all the Flat Earth videos and you kind of need to have a break because you can't see anything new. But the fact you've even spent the time to actually watch all these videos in the first place, Davros.
Are you saying
That's the question.
Are you
That's
saying
the
it's
deeper question.
Bandy,
Why
are
are
you-
you doing it?
Bandy, are
the
you saying it's a
longest-
waste of time to watch Flat Earth videos?
I'm saying it's a waste of time pretty much to watch any of these videos.
Okay.
Whether
thank you.
it's, it doesn't matter what side. What, you're
Whether
going to
it's
disagree,
whittling
NASA?
wood or flat
gonna
earth,
disagree?
they're
You're
useless.
disagree?
I'm not agreeing with you. I'm for a change. I'm agreeing with you. It's a waste of time to watch Flat
Yeah,
Earth
he's
videos.
not wrong on that.
And the globe videos, exactly. Thank you, NASA. This is like the second concession I've heard today. Like, this is a day to mark down in history.
Yeah, it is. I mean, here
Most
we
of
are
it is
agreeing
limited
that,
or a waste of time.
watching
what?
Flat Earth videos is a waste of time.
Like Eric Dubé's 200 proofs on how to contradict yourself.
Has anyone even watched that in the last 4 years?
No, but that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
then shut up, Jazza.
Well, no, I was just saying because some motherfucker
Oh,
was
you're
saying
living in the past, man. Fuck.
some flat earther was saying
Shut up,
tonight,
Jazza.
watch that thing, and no, don't. If you want to punch yourself in the head a million times.
Greater Sapien's actually going through them one by one. I admire him.
Yeah, he's fucking good.
Well, I admire him that he actually has the tenacity to go through all 200 of them.
And he only actually, Eric Dunbay only actually has about 7 proofs that I found. Every other one contradicts each other.
Yeah.
There are no proofs.
Well, there are no proofs, but on the very most that what he has, the 7
No.
that he has,
No.
every other one contradicts
No.
them. But they're not proofs.
No, there is nothing there. Nothing.
Eric Dunbay.
How long have you
Love
been a
you.
flat earther for now, Jazz?
I've
What
been a-
is the proof of gravity?
I've been a
No,
flat earther.
Cavendish experiment.
You guys
I've been
like
a
to
flat
talk about
earther.
gravity all the time.
You stick
What
to the
is-
floor.
The Cavendish.
So you've got to simplify everything with these people. They say, "What's the
That's
cause
true.
of gravity?" You say, "All the dirt under your feet." And if they say, "Oh, well, what's
Not
the effect
cause
of it?"
gravity.
You
I wanna
sticking
know
to
what
the
cause-
floor
I wanna
is
know
is
what
how,
the
what you
proof
say.
of gravity.
That's lame.
Not
That's
No.
lame.
I've been a flat earther
Try to
since
make it as dumb as possible.
April the
Isn't
15th,
gravity still a theory?
2015.
Would they
Oh
consider
God, here we
gravity
go. This is the ultimate proof that David doesn't understand anything about science when he says that gravity is just a theory. Fuck off.
Actually,
Dallas,
Dallas.
And Dallas
No,
David.
but you guys
and
claim-
Dallas
you
David.
claim-
David,
Dallas,
go back.
I still don't understand why gravity couldn't make a flat rock. There's plenty of flat rocks out in the.
Oh my God, Dallas David. Are you from Georgia?
No, he's from Dallas,
Because
Texas.
it'd end up spherical.
Oh,
instead of
Dallas.
flat.
It's not that far away. Oh my God, Dallas.
Why does it have to be a ball?
Because
Why does
Oh
it
my
have to-
God. It's because of accretion, Dallas. Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking
Why does it
asshole.
got- we see a perfect circle in the moon, right? So gravity made the
No.
moon off.
Oh, Dallas. You special boy.
So did the moon and the earth get made did the earth and the moon, did gravity cause the earth and the moon to be made at the same time? Or did the moon show up later after it turned into
The
a ball
moon
before
is
it got
No, the
is
moon-
part of Earth. You dipshit.
the earth is part, it broke off and went into the sky and
Yes.
then turned
Oh
into
my
a
God.
That's
Yeah, something
exactly
like
what
that.
happened. Yes.
Actually, something
can
else
I-
hit the Earth and forced the
Can-
moon
can I-
out. But
Can
So
I please
what
just
happened
interrupt?
here?
Hang on,
How do
Dallas.
balls- How did I understand that humans have 2 balls, but like the Earth is one ball and the moon is another ball.
Oh,
So
could
did they-
someone send me an oven mitt, please?
Can I?
this
can
is a new
can I
role
please
for you,
interrupt?
David.
Just Bill Everett for a dab.
So the
I'm
Earth and the
going
moon are
to.
2 balls, huh? Gotcha.
Did the 2 balls form at the same time together, or were they
Hang on, Dallas.
separated?
Well, I suppose
Hang on,
it's
Dallas.
says 2 balls. Chicks have boobs, don't they?
We want to know your religion.
Boobs
Okay.
count as balls.
Hang on, Dallas. Hang on, Dallas.
Oh God, I gotta mute myself before I get.
I got a question. How did we go from like gravity and shit falling down to the
Y'all
moon?
are stupid, man. You hate it when somebody
Can
tells you
I
your own
please ask
story. That's
Dallas
what I
this?
hate
Gotcha.
about you guys. When you start explaining to you your same damn story,
No,
Dallas.
you don't
it's
know,
all
you
like,
don't know the right
the
story to
person
be telling
explaining
us
is
in the
the
first
crazy
place,
one.
Dave.
this is all
Dave-
the stuff you fucking
Dave, you're
believe.
You've got the
You're
story
embarrassing
all
your
fucked
country,
up,
Dave.
Dave. That's the problem.
Dave, you're
Dallas.
embarrassing your country. You really are. Please be quiet. I beg
Dallas. Dallas. How are you, good sir? You would.
Someone
You would
mute Jazza before he does that damn accent again.
No, hang on. I just want to talk to Dave and ask how he's so viral about the flat Earth.
you. Ask him how he's an expert in 2 balls.
Dallas Dave, are you there, good sir?
He's on dial-up. He drops now and again.
Hang on. Did Jerry just say consequent fallacies? Isn't that what he's written there? Consequence, mate. Consequence.
Oh shit. That's
This is how I know they're full of shit.
that's a big call. Jesus.
Like I say, guys, I apologize for my fellow countryman. He obviously got
NASA?
dropped on his head as a kid.
Oh, wait, no, NASA, look. For silly Jerry, why do you guys act like scientific theories aren't just affirming the consequent
Errors.
fallacies?
That's all
How
that.
is that? How is that even relevant?
Why did he say?
Did you
Why
know
did you
what
say
he meant?
consequence?
Because that's what he's got written there. It's consequence, not
Oh
consequence.
yeah, I see. Yeah, I
yes, it
see
is
that.
consequent, you twat. Oh my god.
No, it's not. Affirming
Yes,
the
it
consequence.
Oh my god, you're making it absolutely.
Learn the language.
Oh, it's consequent.
Consequent with a
It's
T.
consequent with a T, bro.
Yeah.
Davros,
Consequence.
please put yourself on mute. You're really embarrassing
It's
yourself. Now, mate.
consequence. Sorry.
You're still going on about it. You're still digging a massive hole for yourself. This is pathetic, really.
So
It's
what's the consequence of you being stupid?
It's not
Affirming
consequent.
the consequent. Come on,
It's
come
consequent.
on,
That's a crazy flat Earth gunman coming out onto the street. The Earth's not flat.
Have you Googled it yet, Davros?
The Earth's
Why
not
would I?
flat. Clack, clack.
Of
No,
course you wouldn't.
in the way he's written that, he's used the wrong word.
Please.
Does it matter? You know what he was fucking saying?
Oh,
No,
I
'cause he's
see.
lying.
Fuck's sake.
I know. I see what he's saying now. Just affirming consequent fellatios, meaning some poos
Yeah.
in the toilet.
What? Consequent of fellatios?
Yeah, just some. Holy flying fuck train.
That's a really
I
good
love
feeling
how-
consequence.
I love it how everyone jumps on the glober when they say something wrong. But the moment a fucking flat earther says something wrong, oh no, don't pick on him. Don't do anything to him.
Ross.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
leave him alone.
It's
Oh,
enough.
he's a good little
It's enough out of you.
boy. Oh,
It's
shut
enough
up,
out
you
of you.
piece of shit. Go fuck off back to Queensland.
Relax.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's
They
no need
don't
for that attitude.
they
I
don't know
don't
whether
care about you.
We're all friends here.
No, you're not my
Exactly.
friend. Not even
Exactly.
close.
We
exactly
need
what
to
you
really
just said. Oh,
mind our
let's
manners.
take care of them.
And
Davros, come on. We correct each other
don't.
no matter
We
what
don't
side
know
we're
whether
on.
they're male or
constantly.
yeah,
female.
exactly.
Everyone's the same.
No.
You made it fool yourself. It's okay, Davros. We understand your pain. It's not good.
Dude, even when I say I'm wrong, I still get grilled, even when I admit that I'm wrong. So what the
we're
fuck
here
does
for
it
you.
matter?
No, it's
We're
fine.
here for
We're not grilling you. You're actually taking this to the current stage right now. I mean, if you made a mistake with two consonants on the end of a word, it's okay. Just take the correction and move on. It's not a big
Take the
deal.
L.
One thing about
listen
the
to-
corrections
listen
is
to
if
little
flat,
snide
if
little
flat earthers
globus
corrected
there.
themselves, they wouldn't still be flat earthers, would they? So that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, that's not very creative. Anyway, so Davros.
If
I know
flat
how you
earthers were
feel,
going to
mate.
correct
Fuck
themselves and each other, they'd know it was a well, they know that they're idiots.
You just said it wasn't creative, and you decided to repeat
And
it.
yet, 24/7 still exists.
Yeah, but sorry, what was that statement you just made? I just want to hear that again.
If flat earthers corrected each other, they wouldn't still be flat earthers.
Listen, oh my god. Sorry.
Wait, sorry, I
You
didn't
guys
catch
know
that.
something?
Could you say it again?
Yes, we are in the middle of something. Don't be rude.
Sorry about that.
The ability to correct each other would be incumbent upon them being on the same page, and they're not. Flat earthers' beliefs are all over the map. So, yeah, it wouldn't work to begin with if they could correct themselves as a whole by individuals correcting each other. It just won't work. It would be like all the denominations of Christianity trying to correct each other and succeeding at it. It doesn't work. It's happened over and over throughout history, and it just doesn't work.
And here you go, Globus, you little shithead. Tell me I'm fucking wrong again.
There's no
Ah,
need
do
for
it,
that
do it.
language.
Go on. No, go and see
You're
what I've
wrong.
posted. Read what I fucking posted and tell me I'm fucking wrong.
You're wrong.
It's a logical fallacy.
You're wrong.
Okay. Then read it and tell me I'm wrong again.
I read it and you're still wrong.
Concluding that an
It's a
idea
logical
or...
fallacy
Hang
for
on.
you to be correct.
Percentage, fuck off.
It's not what you
Go
were
marry
it's
a
not what we were
child, will ya?
discussing, though.
Go
It's
on.
not the fallacy. It's
be
not the
weird.
fallacy at hand.
Yes, it is. That's the
It
logical
wasn't
fallacy.
it wasn't the fallacy being discussed, and you misunderstood the fallacy being discussed. That's fine.
You're misunderstanding the word.
It's all good. It's all good though. You misunderstood the fallacy.
No, it's not all good, you piece of shit.
But appealing to consequences and affirming the consequent are two different things, aren't they?
No,
of course they are.
Same argument.
Yeah, no, they're two different fallacies.
They're the same thing. Read the argument.
You said appeal to consequence, and that's basically merging both of the different fallacies together into one portmanteau.
Yeah, this is probably part of why you're a flat earther. You don't understand English.
He's not a flat earther.
He was talking
He
to
will be one day.
Veach.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was Fuseli. Sorry.
There's no such thing as appeal to the consequence, is there? Is that a thing?
Hey, Scott, has the moon been orbiting the Earth the whole time since the beginning of time, or did the moon show up at a later date?
I'm sorry. Did the moon show up at a later date? I don't know the answer. I think it showed up later.
I usually hear appeal to consequences. That's the first time I've heard it being phrased that way too, but I usually hear it as appeal to utility.
I see. Okay.
So it is. It's a different logical fallacy. In fact, this is an informal one, and affirming the consequent is a formal one.
So you lose,
which is why, by the way,
it's
irrelevant to us.
Hang on, I didn't know a logical fallacy was informal.
Davros.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Clovis.
Can I tell you? Remember, I had to tell you. You're
Shut
wrong.
up, you piece of shit.
You asked me to tell you again. You're wrong, and you're wrong. I'm telling you.
I said, read what I posted and tell me I'm wrong.
I did, and I told you were wrong. I said that.
So what
earlier.
I posted was wrong.
No, about what you thought was
No, what I posted was wrong, was it?
I didn't say that.
No, what you're wrong about.
Yeah, what you're wrong about.
What you're wrong about is confusing two different fallacies.
Thank
That's
you,
all.
Slug.
But I will stick to being wrong and defend it until I'm dead.
Only that, you're wrong again.
Yeah, you're really pushing up this hill. Are you going to die on it?
He will die on every hill.
Yeah, this is how.
Let's move on.
Yeah, that's Davros for you. He's not
So
quite
if the
all there,
moon-
guys.
If the moon showed up after the Earth was 25,901 miles around, right? It shows up. What is it, like the Death Star, and it just comes by, and what happens? Is there somebody on the moon as it shows up here, or
They went out for a date. They went for dinner.
Shows up is not exactly the best term.
I mean, this is a big claim. Are we all in lockstep with Scott that the moon showed up at a later date from the beginning of time?
Yeah, something like that. You know, like two planets hit each other in the moon. Like,
I mean, all of these.
I believe that the moon showed up with the sun.
It's
in
all
tandem.
based on these balls flying through outer space and getting here. Okay, you like to make all these claims. So, did they form with this gravity together or separate?
Separate.
David, the short story is there was
He's old enough.
There was another planet named Thea. They banged, and the Earth, and then the moon happened.
It's that it now that.
Hey, Brian, what do you think? Do you think the moon showed up like, a couple billion years after the Earth was already formed or whatever?
Who said that?
Yo, Thea was a real slag.
Yeah.
Fuck knows, Dave. I have not got a clue how this place exists.
You should just have stopped with "I don't have a clue" and you'd be correct.
It's beyond our consciousness.
Well, there are stories of the moon not being here. Is that correct? That there are stories where the moon was not in the sky at one point. Is that true?
Not in reality.
Is it actually been documented that the moon was not in the sky at a certain point? Has that ever, or nobody knows?
Yeah, it has in their heliocentric bullshit.
I mean, the moon would be like Jesus in their religion. The Jesus would show up, the moon would show up, right? Or was the moon and Jesus? Was the moon and Jesus already here? Which one is
Dave.
which?
How much truck stop meth have you been smoking lately, buddy?
It's the third option, David.
What was option 3?
What's the third option? You got to remember, you got to get your story straight here.
Another planet showed up.
No.
Ooh, I like
The
that.
truth is, most likely, the sun and the moon showed up together.
Are you eating?
No.
Then why do you sound like you got something stuck in your mouth?
Because I have my tongue.
What do you mean?
And it's stuck in my
Devros,
mouth.
why do you sound like you've got something stuck up your nose?
What do you mean the sun?
I got him.
What do you mean?
It's because I'm snorting coke right now.
What about the sun and the moon showing up at the same time? Or the sun and the earth? You think the sun and the earth were here first, huh? Percentage?
No, I think the sun and the moon were made at the same time.
Hey, you got any proof for that hypothesis?
Why do you think it's a hypothesis, you fucking retard?
It is a hypothesis.
He didn't say he knows. Okay.
That is not a valid
It wouldn't be a
hypothesis.
hypothesis. It would be
That is
an actual fact.
Sure it
That
is.
is not a valid hypothesis. at
Sure
all.
it is.
Anyway,
Sure it is. He said the sun and moon showed up at the same time. That's a nice hypothesis. Do you have any proof?
no, that's a non-viable hypothesis.
Well, what
How
do
you
mean
gonna
it's
test for that?
non-viable?
Wait a
Well, that's
minute.
what I'm
How you gonna test for
questioning.
that?
Exactly.
How
That
you
was my
gonna test
question.
for it?
Exactly.
It's not
that was my
viable
question.
because you can't test for it.
Exactly. That was my question.
Hi, Jeremy. How you going, buddy?
You made a statement of fact. Do you have any proof of that?
How did I make this? Honestly, are you like?
You said the sun and the moon showed up together. How do you know that?
Does anyone else with anyone with a brain, can they correct this guy?
We
That's not
want
what
to
he
know
said.
why Brent.
Yeah,
We
he
want to
started
know
the
why
sentence with,
Brent-
I think.
Shill.
What did I say
We want
wrong?
to know
Yes.
if the moon, the gravity
David,
would
shut up
prove
for a
the
moment.
moon-
David, shut up for a moment. David, please
Hold
shut
on.
up for a moment. So what did I say wrong?
You're saying he made a statement of fact when he never did so.
Well, he said the sun and moon showed up together.
No, he said,
He
I
said he
think.
thinks that's how it may have occurred. So kind of.
So it's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis. Exactly. That's what I
It's
said
a
to begin
question.
with.
No,
It's not a hypothesis. You guys
You
are
said,
too dumb
I
to be
think-
here.
You said I
can't
think
experiment
X,
upon
therefore
such
It's a belief.
hypothesis.
It's an
That's
idea, a
belief.
belief, not a hypothesis.
Belief.
It's not a
Something
viable
you-
hypothesis.
something you pulled out of your ass that you have
You're
no
too
proof for.
stupid, NASA.
Something you pulled out of your ass you have no proof for, right?
Which is just
Get him,
as much
Jeremy.
proof
Yeah.
as you have for your supposed
Actually,
moon
we
sun
have
origin.
some pretty decent proof that the
No,
of that.
it's you pull her out of your ass just as
Actually,
much
we
as
know we
Get him,
have
Globus.
pretty decent proof for it.
Get
I
him.
think mine actually is more
He's
believable.
being a shill.
Considering the sun and the moon have the same apparent size, they have very similar movements.
They have
Cycles.
similar movements?
Yeah, the cycles are pretty similar. Sidereal cycles.
No,
solar
one goes
cycles,
around
not
the
much of a
Earth
difference.
every. One goes according to you. One goes around the over the Earth like once a day. One goes over the Earth like once every 28 days. How do you get those cycles then?
What are you talking about, man? The sidereal cycle is 29.5 days on average. The solar cycle is like 30.25 days on average. The fuck is wrong with you?
30
what the fuck
days?
is wrong with you, bro?
30.25. Where did that one come from?
Yeah, I would say what's this?
Yeah. Where did the 30.2 come from? Out of your ass?
The moon's is 27.3.
Well, yeah, I know that one, but the solar
It's
cycle
like
thing or something.
leap year or something like that. It's not exactly 30.5, right?
What?
What?
What else you got, Dave?
I want to get back to this 30.2 solar cycle.
Oh, what about we get
Well,
back to
I-
the proof of your sun and moon origin that you said you had?
You can Google that if you'd like.
No, how about you just provide it? Because
I'm
not here to teach you shit.
You made a
Just don't wanna
statement
know.
of fact.
There we go. Yeah, that's what. And you indicted percentage on supposedly making a statement in fact, and now you won't provide any.
Oh no,
proof
it's
of your
a statement in
outlandish
fact.
claim.
Yeah, it's not an outlandish claim.
Oh, so okay. Well, if yours is a statement in fact, Then how about you
How does
provide
it-
some
how
evidence?
about gravity? Don't these
No,
planets?
Globus, the word he used was proof.
Oh, proof.
What about
that's right.
what?
Yeah, exactly.
What about the moon? You have this gravity, and if the moon, you should be able to prove whether the moon was here at the same time as the Earth by using the formula that you use for gravity, right?
Wrong.
How's that, Dave?
Well, I mean, because they work in tandem together right now. It's like a gear.
There you go.
how a
There's
gear
a
works.
citation.
Huh?
Here's a citation for the guy that wanted the moon forming.
I don't
So
think you
that
know what a
doesn't make any
citation
sense.
is.
You should be able to prove your formula of gravity using how the planets are size, weight, and everything else together, huh?
That's what my son wants to have a debate with you. I think he'll get you.
Yeah, he's actually better at it than you are. He's not as stupid.
Yeah, he gives you a challenge.
What's
He's not
up,
stupid
Jeremy?
as Jeremy. Jeremy has like no brain. I think he's
Jeremy,
too many
you need to
chemicals in or something.
Jeremy, you need to come over here more. You've been gone a while. You need to come back over here and wear these guys out some more. You're laying down on your duties.
Bro, these guys are crackheads, bro. There's nothing you can say to them.
Look who's freaking talking about not being able to get anything through his thick skull.
We're looking for new science. You can't replace old science unless you have new to replace it.
Science doesn't get replaced.
You didn't give me any proof, kind sir. You just
It's
gave me a
just like,
story.
it's just like
by the way.
you don't
Actually,
hear
there's
anything
proof in there
about
if you
that.
look through
It's
it.
just like this
You
thing with
can't
the
even
moon
get the
showing
current
up.
science right, Dave. So how can you go replacing it if you don't understand it in the first place?
No, you guys. So was the moon here? Did the moon turn into a ball because of gravity at the same time the Earth did?
No.
Scott says it did.
No. Okay, that's one possibility, but it's probably not.
Okay, so the moon did its own gravity thing somewhere else. How do things turn into a ball? Because you've got these different suns, right? You should be able to prove all of your mathematics down to gravity from every damn planet, every speed of every planet, every rotation of every star, every damn thing ought to work right back out from gravity then. And can you show me how that works? No answer.
Well, no, I can't show you anything, David, because your mind is fully made up.
No, it's not about made up. We're trying to figure out how you came up with this gravity. You got your whole theory.
Cavendish experiment.
Gravity is like your holy grail. Gravity and Jesus are. You might as well just combine the two names.
Say it out of your own mouth. Unless you come up with something new to replace it, you can't replace it.
Yeah, the current understanding of gravity is space-time bending. In order for you to do an experiment on gravity, you would actually have to know that the space-time is bending, no?
Yeah, we have proof of that.
Is there a formula for space-time bending?
Yes, there is.
You can't
is it?
You can't bend concepts, guys.
Okay,
Space
so
and
it's a
time are
concept.
concepts.
It's a
Not
middle,
space and
it's a
time.
It
middle-
cannot be. It cannot
It's
be
mental-
physically bent.
One word,
Is it-
space-time.
Is mental?
It's the same
What is
thing.
it? Mental gymnastics? Is
And
there
it
no
has been
formula?
physically. It can be physically bent. Eddington showed that 100 years ago now.
It can't be bent. Well, show us space and time being bent. I'd love to see. that.
Space-time, not space and time. Space-time, one word.
It's the same thing. It's
No,
the
it's
same thing.
space-time.
You can
It's one word,
you
not
can
two.
just say it's one word, whatever you want, however you want to say it. It still
Did
denotes
gravity
space
cause
and
the
time.
formation?
Space-time,
Did
one word, not
gravity
space
make
and
these-
time.
You keep
does
saying the same thing.
gravity-
You're a broken record.
Does gravity turn things into balls? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so gravity, it turns things into balls. The moon and the earth are both balls circling. One is circling the other, right? And the sun looks like a ball in the sky, right?
Yeah, it's okay. So far, so good.
Okay, so now,
So wait a minute, hold on a second. No, where are you going to derail here? How long do you guys think before he derails? And then
so you drop something, right? And you say that is a force being pulled towards the earth, and that's why the earth is round, and that's why there's the measurements. Are we all on the same page right now?
Okay, so far. Okay, now how far before you go off the
I'm
track?
with you, Dave. I'm with you.
Okay, so now you need to prove that your gravity can form two balls together at the same time.
They didn't form at the same time. That's where you go off the track.
Okay, this is a whole new story. So we've got the moon. The moon shows up from where?
Actually, I posted that. You want me to post it again? Here, go ahead and read this, David. I know it's tough to read, but it's actually read. You know.
No, but just tell me, just so I want to know the story. It's like
you have to read it. You have to read
play
it.
like there's somebody in bed listening to us talk.
Oh God, no!
Oh God, no! I can't. I can't imagine you being in bed, me telling you a bedtime story. It's just too gross.
It was delivered on a Peterbilt, Dave.
Oh, it was delivered. I believe that. Now, all right, we're all on the same page. Thank you very much. That was a good one.
It's like that in my head.
Thank you. You know, truck drivers never die. They just buy another Peterbilt. Bye.
Are you driving right now, David?
He's gone.
Always amazes me that the experts in flat Earth science, rather than being like, you know, people in like universities and
we've got some new science here, and we want to know how many. I've never heard a date. How many years has it been since the moon showed up? Has it been here? How old is the Earth? 10 billion years old. When did the moon show up? At 9 billion or just like 100,000 years ago?
3.5 weeks ago.
well, everything was created last Thursday anyway. So
Yep. I know, but what is the date? Is there like a
last Thursday, David? Everything was created last Thursday.
Did the moon show up? Will your gravity? Will your formula for gravity prove that the two balls in the sky, the Earth and the moon, were formed together apart? Will it prove one or the other?
Yes.
No.
And if you took gravity and the speed that things fall, could you prove the Earth by the amount of matter on the Earth? Could you prove that with the size that you say it is, that things fall at that rate because of the size of the Earth due to its mass?
Yes.
Do.
They don't know none of these damn questions. They're just liars.
He just answered you.
Oh, well, let's see it.
Oh, David, the math is very complex. You probably not understand it because you barely understand 1 + 1 = 2.
What does it matter?
Well, just tell us how the mathematicians sat down and figured out what mathematical problem he was trying to solve.
You wouldn't understand the math, David.
We're trying to find out if the moon and the Earth. See, this is new to me. I didn't know the moon showed up.
What does it matter?
What do you mean? Oh, what does it matter? I like that answer.
What does it matter? What does it matter with the shape of the Earth?
What does it matter? It matters everything in this that you believe matters because of this one thing.
No, actually, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, this is your gravity. Your gravity had to build two balls at one time or one ball at a time, right? There's no, and then you have to have them rotate at the same time, okay?
They don't rotate at the same time. What are you talking about?
You know what I mean.
No.
The Earth rotates once a day. The moon rotates once a month.
Basically, what you do is you preach a half story. You don't like the first part of your story, and you only deal with the second half. Has the moon been here the same amount of time as the Earth? And has the moon always been here like the sun has? The sun is
a week apart. Would it make a difference?
It was last Thursday, David. Everything was created last Thursday.
No, I mean, this is your religion, so
That's
we
what
need
I'm saying.
to know.
Last Thursday, David.
If it was a week apart,
Thursday.
would it make a difference? If it was a week apart, a month apart, a year apart, 1,000 years apart? What would it make a difference?
Oh, it'd make a big difference. Because
really? So if it's an hour apart, it makes a difference?
You got to remember, you live on a ball because of gravity, right?
That doesn't make a difference.
Gravity is your holy grail of everything aeronautical, everything about
aeronautical.
And
aeronautical.
And the time that the moon was created does not make a difference in that.
Oh, it does.
Really?
You have to be able to show that
At the exact same second, millisecond, or could it be a week, a month, a year, 10,000 years apart? Does it make a difference?
You would think. You got to remember, you can't just. So you think these things were the actual size that they are now, and then they just turned into more perfect spheres, or what? How were they like rocks, and then in time they turned into spheres, or were they just automatically spheres of this size?
They combined together, and then some of them blew back apart. Some got hit by other ones.
Okay, so there are planets that are not round.
Fine planet.
That's part of the definition that it has to be round to be a planet.
I was gonna say, yeah. I think that's why they.
No, are there planets that are not round?
No, because in order to be a planet, you have to be round.
See, this is a religion. This isn't a
Nope,
fact.
this
How
is
could you have all
this is science.
How would all planets be round?
Because in order to
things
be
that are too small to be perfectly or relatively perfectly round are called asteroids.
There are no planets.
There are planets. There are 8 planets. There are 8 planets.
That's
zero.
We've sent probes to all of them.
There's no planets. It's dumber than the average flat.
How about
There
all
are
stars
0
are-
planets aside from the lights moving.
Oh, fuck 'em.
In their
We've
cycles.
sent probes there.
Planets, by your definition, do not exist.
Why
We've sent probes to them. We have sent
you haven't
satellites.
probed anything, okay?
We have sent probes to all of the planets.
You wish you did.
No, we've done it. We have the data. We've sent the probes there. You can deny it all you want.
Keep on saying it. Keep on asserting it.
You keep denying
without
it. Yeah,
any
denial. I know denial ain't just a
actual
river in
evidence.
Africa. Denial ain't just a river in Africa. I got it.
Regardless of regardless of whether they're what we think they are, they're still called planets.
Yeah, planets.
Yeah.
Boy.
Planets isn't wandering.
You just wanting to rename them something else doesn't make sense. I mean, they've been
No,
called
actually, you
planets.
guys
They've been
hijacked
still talking. They've been called planets for hundreds of years, even though they didn't really know what they were. They were still called planets.
Yeah, the actual
And we
definition,
can see
is
that there's
wandering
a-
star, and which you guys hijacked, right? You hijacked the word. So,
Well, you claiming that there's no
planetos,
planets
the
doesn't make any
actual
sense then, does it?
root words, that's fine. But planets, as you know them, as you define them, do not exist.
Actually, they do.
Well, we
We've
can
sent
see
probes
that
to
they
them.
resemble round objects, and we've
They
seen
only
other
exist
objects that
in
are
your
not.
rhetoric, and in your model, and in your minds, your
You
theories.
can take. You can
In actuality,
you Poe Centage. You can take a telescope and point them at these so-called lights and see that they are actually planets with moons around them. One of them has rings around them. It's amazing. You could do that yourself
you
from your
can't tell
backyard.
that they're physical objects
Yes,
of
you
matter
can. They're
by looking
physical
at them
objects.
from afar,
You can look. You
from
can look
one
at,
angle.
You can look at Jupiter and see
Look at
the
those real
moons
close
disappear behind them, behind Jupiter, and then reappear on the other side. This is pretty much a
Except you
demonstration that
can't.
it is a solid object with its other solid objects around it. You can see shadows from these solid objects.
You don't know
on
their
the surface
shadows.
of the
You
other
have
side.
no
yes,
idea.
we do know their shadows because they only occur when the one
Present your
object is in
evidence.
front of the other object. You do it.
Present your
Go
evidence.
get a telescope and look at it yourself, and then tell me.
Be gone, thought.
You, sir, are a complete idiot. You either are a complete idiot or you're just being a Poe, or both.
You're an idiot.
Or you're making claims, and you're making claims that your ass can't catch.
Do it yourself. Get a
Writing
telescope.
checks
Look
that
at
your ass
Jupiter.
can't catch.
What?
You have
So
no
you're making
evidence
claims.
showing
You're making claims.
that they're
Millions of people
actually
do it all the
physical
time.
objects of matter.
Oh my God! You want me to give you a claim that you can look at Jupiter and see the moons? Galileo found this out. For fuck's sake!
That's fine. You see lights, with other
Do it.
lights.
Do
you
it.
don't know. You don't
We have
know
sent
whatever
probes there.
you're claiming is a shadow is an actual shadow. You're
We
making a
have
lot of
sent
assumptions because you're
probes
assuming
there.
the nature of the
Oh my
heavens.
fucking God! We are not
You
assuming
pull
anything.
your head out, look through a telescope, you'll never know.
So provide the evidence.
Get a
Provide the
telescope.
evidence that they're not.
Provide
couldn't
the
use a
evidence.
telescope if he had
video
to.
footage.
Provide the evidence that they're not.
Jupiter in a telescope.
Get a
showing
telescope.
It is an object of matter.
Pocahontas,
Do your
provide the
own
evidence that they're
research,
not
for
planets.
fuck's sake. Do your own research, for
Yes,
fuck's sake.
The burden of proof
Something
is
in the
reverse
burden
of
of proof
fallacy
fallacy.
of asking to provide
shut the
evidence that
fuck
they're
up.
not.
Shut the
Well,
fuck
I mean,
up,
I know you
Jeremy.
guys don't like to be
Shut
logical,
the fuck
but
up,
you're
Jeremy.
being logically fallacious right
you
now
have- you
with
still
that
have-
dumb
you-
thing. Provide
Yeah,
evidence that they're not. That's stupid.
You
You
only
ask
need
them for
one eye to
evidence
look-
that they can't do.
Right. What he's
You
saying.
need
That's
you only need
stupid.
one eye to look through a telescope, so you can still do it. Get a telescope, look at Jupiter, and do it.
Shifting in the burden of proof fallacy.
It's not. I'm telling you to do it yourself.
If you're too lazy for that, go to any
I don't
observatory
need
and
to.
they'll show
I need
you.
to go on a wild goose chase for something I know that's not going to pan out.
Of course,
Burden
you
of
know
proof
it's gonna
lies
be-
on the
you
one.
already
The
kn-
burden of proof lies against the one who's going against the current consensus.
Incorrect.
That'd be you. That's
Oh, you're
correct.
making a positive claim, you dumb fuck. You
No,
are
that-
too.
no,
You too.
that-
Doesn't matter whether you
like I
make a
said,
positive
You and
claim or
Peyton
not.
Astor Shills. Hey, I'm still talking. You and Peyton Astor Shills could go.
Yeah, so was
go
I.
hold hands.
I was
No,
still
I
talking
was
too,
talking,
Jeremy.
and then you were.
I was talking too, Jeremy.
Well, I'm pointing out how you're being an idiot by making.
Yeah, well,
someone-
I'm calling
by
you
making
out
a
for an
claim-
idiot too,
By
Jeremy.
making a claim and then asking someone to provide evidence against your positive claim.
Jeremy, fucking
You're
Google
making a
it.
claim that they're not what we say they are. That's your burden
Yeah.
of proof.
That's a negative claim. You're making a positive
Without
claim.
providing
No,
a
it's not.
Positive
It's a
claim,
positive
you
claim.
provide the proof.
It's
You're trying to do
a
a burden of
positive
proof.
claim.
You're trying
It's
to
a.
do a
You
burden
think
of
Jeremy?
it's not a negative? It's
trying
not
to
a
do
negative
burden
claim,
of
Jeremy.
proof reversal
That's a
fallacy right now.
positive claim of yours,
No,
Jeremy.
it's a negative claim. It's a
It's
negative
not.
claim. It's not. It's a negative claim. You're making a positive claim. The moons are this.
You are
We're
claiming
saying
that they're not
prove
what
it.
we say they are. That's your positive claim,
Because you
Jeremy.
can't prove it. Because you can't prove it.
Dude,
It's
the word
your
not
positive.
years.
It's
is
your
negative.
positive claim that
He's an
they're not
idiot
what we
percentage.
think
He
they
doesn't
are.
even know. I can't believe these are the dumbest, smartest people I've ever seen.
They're like the equivalent of like skinny fat.
We don't have the replacement.
I have a question. Percentage and Jeremy, what are these lights in the sky if they're not what we say they are? What are they?
We don't make claims about the lights in the sky. You guys do.
Yes,
That's
you
where
do.
the
You
burden of-
claim
that's
they're
where the
lights in
burden
the
of proof-
sky.
Oh, don't let me finish. They won't let me finish. They're scared of me. You heard?
Not
We
scared
don't
at
make
all,
we don't
Jeremy.
make claims about. Then shut up and let me talk.
Let him
We don't
finish.
make claims about. They can't let me talk. They have to funny mute me. Go ahead, guys.
All right. Go ahead, Jeremy. I was
We're not the ones
asking
making
people
claims.
to let you finish.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Thanks, Jim. We're not the ones making claims about the lights in the sky. You guys are. So we don't need to provide any proof or evidence or say, hey, we think they're unicorns or fair. It doesn't matter what we think. You guys are the ones making the claim. You need to provide the proof.
No, we provide the evidence, Jeremy. We don't have to provide the proof. What we do is we provide evidence, and then we make our claim based on the weight of that evidence. That's what we actually do. So you could show other evidence that goes against the evidence that we've provided. You could try doing that.
You don't even
Provide-
know if these
provide the
objects
evidence
are
you're speaking
tangible
of.
or not.
And as
You don't
Dallas
even know
said,
if these objects are
if you don't
tangible or
have
not.
replacement.
You could start by
We landed on Mars.
You could start by trying to provide some evidence that things that aren't tangible can still produce light, Jeremy.
Let me know when you touch that.
That's another example of affirming consequent.
It's not at all.
It is.
It's not. Provide some evidence that there is something that's not changeable that can produce light.
Okay, so I'll tell you how it's affirming consequent. You're saying that objects that produce light on terra firma, like on Earth, where we are tangible. Therefore, any light that's up there must be produced by a tangible object. But you don't know the nature of what's up there. You don't know how it works. You have never been there, so you can't really say. It could be something else causing the light, which you don't know, right? But you're affirming the consequent, applying the logic that we have on Earth to there.
Again, it's not affirming the consequent. It's not
Yes,
a
it is.
logical.
I just
it's
took 30
not.
seconds to explain
I'm
it.
still talking. Jesus Christ, I'm still talking. Got 2 words in. All right, it's not
Yeah, they're
affirming the
wrong.
consequent. It's not affirming the consequent because it's not a logical argument. It's based on evidence and the weight of that evidence. In all of our experience, we have never come across any object that is able to emit light that's not tangible. The theory of the way that light is emitted is based on the evidence that we've got.
Yeah, that's fine. If you're talking about on Earth, that's fine. But when you try to apply it to the skies, right, to the heavens, that's when you're making a logical assumption, and it's actually illogical.
That's what you call special pleading.
What about
How
these
is special
light
pleading?
bulbs that seem to appear in the middle of nowhere?
It's not special pleading because I'm not claiming that it's anything, right? I'm just saying we have inconclusive amounts, like it's
No, you're
indeterminate
saying that
amounts
we
of
can't-
evidence.
You're saying that we can't use the same logic that we use for everything else.
You can't assume it. It may or may not be true. We can't assume
Yeah,
it.
that's-
If you do
yeah, that's
assume
special
it
pleading.
as fact,
That's special pleading.
affirming
It literally
consequent.
is.
That's not what
it's-
special pleading is.
it is literally special pleading because you're saying there is a special case possibly out there that that could explain what we
No,
see.
it would be special pleading
That's
if
what
I was talking
special
about
pleading
something on
is.
Earth, something that we know, and saying it's different. But to talk about a completely different environment with different, potentially
know what the
different nature,
environment is.
it's not special pleading. We just don't know.
That is exactly what special pleading is.
In order for
No,
something to be
special-
tangible, you need to be able to touch it. Now, have you touched anything out there? The sun, the moon? I know you claim to have been on the moon, but let's face it, you haven't.
What are these light balls that seem to appear from nowhere? Are they tangible?
Fireflies.
I do believe they can actually manufacture them now, can't they?
What the fuck is he on about?
I have absolutely no idea.
What
are
light
you
How about the
talking
fireflies
about?
he saw behind his house?
He hasn't got any fireflies behind his house.
I've seen these big balls of light just appear in the middle of nowhere.
Are you hallucinating?
No, they're a well-known phenomenon.
Well, what phenomenon?
Phenomenon.
What are they well known as?
Starling.
Light balls.
Light bulbs.
You mean ball lightning?
I don't know. I'm sure I've seen a program about this. Just a ball of light that seems to appear over a field or over water.
No, what the fuck is he talking
I
about?
have no idea.
He's talking about
Yeah,
the
It's a
min
little bit
lights.
familiar. Whatever he's talking about, it sounds a little bit familiar.
He's gotcha.
I'm sure there is.
Do you know what he's talking about, Jeremy?
It's almost
Can
kind of
you
like
translate this from flat
alien-
Earth to English?
Shut up, Jim. I'm sure there's a phenomenon where a ball of light just appears.
Are you talking about the sun?
No, over a field or a stretch of water.
That sounds like ball lightning, which has been known about for quite some time.
Yeah, well, he's
ball
saying
lightning?
that any light has to be tangible. This thing isn't tangible. It just appears and disappears.
Well, so it's
Plasma's
lightning.
tangible.
Lightning just appears and disappears. Yeah, that's tangible. Ask anybody who's been hit by it.
There is a Jesus.
The point
Brian.
is, they got.
There is a legend in Australia known as the Min lights, which is what he's talking about, something like that. But it's only something that's anecdotal. It's not something that's known to exist. It's simply stories being told by people.
In order for something to be tangible, you need to have had.
Somebody Google
you
it.
need to
I'm
be,
driving.
The only thing I can come across that matches anything like you're talking about is ball lightning.
Explain what ball lightning is.
Well, that's tricky for a start, but you can Google it. Just Google
Do you know
ball
what it
lightning.
is?
Just Google it.
Well, where's the fun in that, man? We're having a
sure
conversation.
Oh, well, that's
Here a
shame.
light just appears. And
So
then
you-
just disappears.
You're vaguely remembering some program you've seen. Yeah.
I vaguely remember like maybe it's a different program or something like that, but yeah, like a story about how people see weird things like that And you know, it's kind of in the same vein as UFO and like alien sightings and stuff. So maybe it's the same thing.
Or not.
Like orbs caused by aliens or something.
Gotta ring the missus, tell her I'm on my way. Back in a bit.
So you guys are living a Star Wars space fantasy, hoping you get anal probed by a green alien or some shit. It
Fuck
ain't
off,
gonna
you
happen.
weirdo. Go
It ain't gonna
suck
happen.
his cock.
Your whole little space fantasy is just a Star Wars movie. That's all.
Yeah, whatever, mate.
Yeah, that's a reasonable position for an adult in the 21st century to
Isn't
hold.
it just? Yeah, fuck's
I mean, you guys can't, Jem, you can't prove anything that's going on out there.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
You got no science for it.
Oh,
All
is
you
that
got
the
is
best
pseudo-
you can come up with?
I think
You got
that
all
if I can see it happening, that's proof enough. And
Okay,
if my observation of it happening is confirmed by many other people, then that's good enough for me.
So if multiple people see something happening, then it's happening. Because we got a lot of shit that happens in reality.
I think in the absence of any evidence that it's not happening, yes, I think the reasonable position is if lots of people say this thing happened and there's no evidence that it didn't happen, then the reasonable position is it happened, right?
Well, how about when we see the sun in between the clouds? We see clouds behind it and in front of the sun, and
No, we
multiple
don't.
people see it.
No.
Yeah, we do.
No,
And
we
multiple people see it. We have it on video.
You have never seen clouds behind the sun.
Absolutely, we
No, you
absolutely
haven't.
have.
Well, there's the explanation,
It's
Jeremy.
obviously-
Jeremy, there's the
It's
explanation.
obviously an optical
Jeremy,
illusion.
there's the
Hold on, you don't need to
explanation.
jump in, bro.
Well, I do because
Listen,
I'm
it's obviously
explaining why you see it.
it's
You
obviously
said
an
the
optical-
explanation
Oh,
lays in
my
the
God.
fact that you said we see it on video because you know how CMOS sensors work now, don't you?
It's obviously an optical illusion. However, you can see it happening. So, according to Jem, it must be happening because multiple people see it happen.
No, because I don't think that you do see it happening.
No.
I think
we do.
I think for one thing, this is, as Paul has pointed out, it's a product of video. But even regardless of that, your conclusion that the clouds are going behind the sun is just a conclusion. You don't see clouds going behind the sun. You just see the edge of the cloud disappear at the edge of the sun. But you haven't got any reason to conclude it's going behind it. You have lots of reasons to conclude it isn't, based on other experiences you have with the sun.
So it wouldn't be safe to just look at something, see something happening, and say, "Okay, this is happening, and this is how it is." Right? We would need to do further investigation.
Yes, certainly on this one you
Yes.
do. Yes.
And shit for space too.
As I understand
Yes, and that investigation has been done many times over, hasn't it? I mean,
no,
it isn't-
no way, no, it hasn't.
What you think the only evidence we have that stuff goes to space is seeing it? You don't think the existence of the engineers that produce the stuff itself, the accounts of the people who have been, the footage from space, the
signals that are coming from the things that are in space.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going there next. I mean all of that corroborates it, doesn't it?
No, because we've seen so much fraudulent shit. I mean, how much fraudulent shit do you need to see before you realize that they're lying?
Well, I need to see one compelling one.
Oh, Jem, stop.
Well, that always ends
Stop.
up circular.
We've
Because
shown
when
you
you ask
hundreds.
you about how you know something's fraudulent, you
We've-
point to the
we've
next
shown you
thing,
hundreds,
and the
Jem.
next thing, and then eventually you just get that incredulity.
Hey, I didn't hear the beginning of your sentence because I was responding to Jem. What'd you say?
All right. Talking about how you say you know that this is fake because you've seen other stuff that's fraudulent. Well, that just ends up either circular or ending up in you're being incredulous about it.
Well, I'm just saying,
No
I wouldn't.
actual proof that you've seen something fraudulent,
Once people have lied to
or
me
even
enough,
significant evidence. Sorry.
once people have lied to me enough times, I stop believing them. I don't know how you live your life, but I don't believe people that keep lying to me.
100,000
See, it's like you didn't even-
Keep listening to QA.
You're not even responding to what I said.
Huey's probably the smartest
You don't
person. in the
have
world
that.
right now.
You don't have significant evidence for that first lie.
Yeah, you don't have significant evidence for the lie, do you?
Yes, we do. Of course we do. You've went over it with us.
You don't?
Jeb, you went over it with us. All this fraudulent activity that they do.
I think significant evidence for a lie would be someone being convicted of lying or maybe losing their job over it or something of that nature. I think then you'd have something to say, look, this is an occasion when they actually lied. But even then, I think you would need that to be, about space stuff and not, I don't know, whatever, some financial issue or some personnel issue or something like that.
I want significant evidence that QE is intelligent.
Yeah, we've not seen any to date. Guys are great.
Yeah, we got the screw dropping. We got the satellites falling through the clouds. I mean, the wires, the spray.
Are you talking
hairspray
about
in the hair?
the captive fitting on the ISS that doesn't hit the ground? It doesn't fall.
The guy in the USMC shirt, and they're always tilting their heads, trying to go with trying to make their head plumb, because that's a natural thing that humans want to do. So every time, and they do it in movies a lot too, but in the ISS you can see they're always trying to keep their head in the direction of plumb, because it's the natural thing in your, the vestibular.
You go upside down. How's that?
Cochlear
Yeah.
system.
What about when one of them's at 90 degrees to the others? And then you got guys who are upside down at the same
You can
time.
see them. You can see them trying to keep their head level, even when that's happening. Yeah.
No,
Well, it's interesting.
They're always trying to keep their head.
It's almost like people are drawn to those straight lines that show up in all the stuff that we build.
Do you really believe the shit you're spouting?
How do they keep the blood from rushing to their brain?
I'm sure astronauts and stuff do keep their heads aligned with whatever they're looking at, and whatever they're looking at is probably at some 90-degree angle to something else.
Wow.
The evidence of fraudulent activity is overwhelming.
There is zero evidence of fraudulent activity. Oh, fuck, here we go.
To tell you the truth, I don't think our bodies could function without a downward bias.
Bollocks.
Oh, God.
Okay,
Really? People used to think your body couldn't function going over 10 miles an hour.
Fuck,
They thought people would suffocate if they rode a train over 10 miles an hour.
That's
or
true.
Whatever the number was.
Yeah, something ridiculously slow, wasn't it? The body wouldn't be able to withstand it. They were wrong.
Do you guys believe in the concept of a person being too far gone?
I'm starting.
Yes.
Yes, all of the Globers are too far gone down the sci-fi.
There we go. Case
down
in
this
point,
sci-fi reality they're trying to live.
We're thinking we lost you, Jeremy. We drove
him.
you into the flat earth. We think.
The guy who's telling us that he quits listening to people after they've lied to him and lied to him. He's telling us to not listen to himself.
Yeah, well, I mean, once somebody lies to you so many times, why would you even keep believing them?
We don't believe you anymore.
I quit believing you, Jeremy, long time ago.
I have never lied to you.
You're a piece of shit. Gay.
What have I lied about? Name one lie. You guys do this to me all the time.
That's just a lie.
Name one thing I've lied about.
The crap
you lied about never lying.
I lied about people lying. Who, NASA?
You lied about the fact that you never lied.
I've never lied. Name one time I lied.
Just now.
Just then.
Fuck off.
Oh, this is going to go round in cycles.
Yeah. This is your circular reasoning shit you guys do.
Would the gravity of the moon be the reason for the height of the gases on Earth?
Oh my God.
It's height. Height doesn't have a TH on the end, for fuck's sake.
But how do you get? What I want to know is your mathematics have to include the moon in your gravity formulas. Unless one of them got here first. You got to remember what either it showed up after the Earth was formed or at the same time,
or before.
Last Thursday we sorted that out.
Why is this important, though, Dave? I mean, let's say the moon came a year before the sun, or 10 million years, or whatever. What's the difference?
Well, because of the formation of gravity into balls. If the moon, you have to assume that the moon has always been here.
Why?
Because the sun has always been here.
Yeah, but what do you think came first? The sun, the earth, the moon?
I would figure that the sun would probably come first, maybe.
Yes, and then logical progression.
Okay, so that's why you guys worship the sun, because you think it was.
No, we don't worship the sun. Where'd you get this shit from?
Hey, can I congratulate Dave? Dave has exhibited his question a very deep and thorough misunderstanding of everything that he's asking about.
No, Dave makes a good point here. Dave has a good point. Hold on. Go ahead, Josh.
Dallas, how long have you been worshipping bullshit for? Because you worship bullshit. You know that.
All right. Dave makes a good point here because
you got to remember all your balls all come from gravity.
No. You worship bullshit, Dallas. That's the only point I'm making here. Is you
worship bullshit. But there's no time frame on gravity.
All right. Let's say the moon. Let's say the moon.
Dave. They investigated. They investigated the Texas tea tacos. They are in fact not bullshit.
All right, let's say the story.
If you only knew how many mornings we spent talking about gravity over the last 3 or 4 years.
That's because you guys won't get it.
I'm trying to figure it out over here.
You would have thought one of you clever cunts would have worked out if Earth is spinning, that mass is like a huge flywheel.
No.
That you could get free energy out of it somehow, wouldn't you?
Jesus wept.
You'd think that if someone had actually thought about it and had any idea of mechanics, they'd realise what a stupid fucking suggestion that was.
You would have thought so.
What, you couldn't get out? You couldn't make it free energy out of this thing?
We do get free energy. It's called windmills.
Yeah. Someone with a basic grasp of mechanics should have worked out the amount of bullshit that he's just spouted. Do you want to work that out first, Brian?
Problem is with windmills, they don't work when it's not windy.
Funny that, isn't it?
And solar panels don't work at night
very well. Whoopee.
Whereby the Earth's supposed to be constantly spinning, we should have been able to figure out some way of grabbing some energy out of it.
How?
Well, what we should have done is wrapped a cord around the equator, have someone hold one end of it, and that would generate energy, wouldn't it?
Well,
like starting a mower.
Yeah.
You need a stator, don't you, to support.
And how are you going to do that on a planetary scale?
I don't know. We could.
Now we're getting some mechanics into it here. This is scary, Brian.
We could come up with something.
Really?
If only we knew someone that worked with race cars or that works with decent mechanics. He could go and ask those mechanics about the problem, couldn't he?
Yeah, that's true. But we don't know anybody like that, do we?
Farmer's boy, put a big copper coil in orbit.
Exactly.
Cam girls and cam boys, Brian. That's what you want to do. Go and speak to your cam girls and cam boys.
I've got a funny feeling that we might need a slightly higher rate of rotation, though. I don't think spinning it at 15 degrees an hour is really going to cut it. I think it needs to go a little bit faster than that.
Or if we could get a pole to the center of the universe,
which
is obviously, and then get a wheel on the other end of the wheel. We put a wheel with a dynamo, like you used to get on an old push bike.
Oh yeah.
Put that against the rotation of the Earth at the equator, and you might generate some electricity. I don't know.
Just put a dynamo with a wheel on it, lower it on a string from the moon till it touches the Earth.
All you've got to do, farmers, is the gearing. Them windmills are geared 50 to 1. So that's why they look like they're rotating so slow. But the shaft inside is geared up 50 times.
Yeah, they're still going faster than 15 degrees an hour, though, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, but we could use much higher gearing, couldn't we? if the Earth, with the mass of the Earth, we could go like millions to one.
Oh, that's ludicrous, Brian. You can't
Millions.
have millions. That's
You think
ludicrous.
one of you stubborn punks would have figured out how to tap into the ether by now?
Careful. Careful now.
Or of course, it might be the case that we're not fucking moving at all.
Well, it might be, but you're wrong because
And
we are moving.
if we're not moving, where do wind come from?
We know that's all done by the sun, don't we?
Do
we?
How?
Would you like to prove that, Brian?
That sounded like a positive claim to me.
It sounded like a very positive claim,
I think we need to leap on this claim and get him to expose it intimately.
Yeah, steady.
Hello, everyone.
I've got a warning call. Fucking.
Hello.
Yeah, wave your van, Teddy.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm Brian.
So on the nights
Dallas
where
Dave worships bullshit. He worships it. It's his religion.
I was just wondering where the sun is when the trees are blowing out the back of my house here with the wind. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
No sun, yet something's moving the trees. So what's moving the trees?
Is my
Brian, that was for you.
Yeah, we hear you, dude. We hear you.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I thought no.
Oh, don't worry about that.
No, but yeah, everybody else does.
The thing is, everyone's being very nice and people giving way to each other, so everyone can get a chance at Mike. And this is the way it should work.
Yes.
So, Vincent, do you worship bullshit?
Do I worship what?
Bullshit.
Well, everything is fucking bullshit.
Ah, but that wasn't the question.
Not cow
Good
shit.
answer.
It's a good answer, actually. I think it's bullshit, yeah.
It's Vinny. Welcome, Vinny.
Hey, how you doing?
Long time no see.
I know, man. I'm so sorry, but I've been really sick. I'm still sick, but
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
well, thanks, but
I take it you're on the mend.
excuse me.
Are you getting better?
Step by step, yes.
Well, that's fair enough. As long as it steps in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, the thing is, if you're taking steps to getting better, it means we can take the piss out of you for being ill.
Yeah,
if you're
do whatever.
terminal, that's a bit mean.
I don't know yet, but do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
Oh, in that case, then
He's here and he's talking.
We'll
That's
reserve sarcasm and humour until we have a more
yes,
definitive
exactly.
position.
Are we live on YouTube or what?
Did you
We
have
are,
it
mate.
live?
We are live on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. Hello.
Right, what was you saying? I was sorting my truck out.
Vinny, I believe, is could be described as an ex-flatty.
Oh.
Yes, that's the correct description.
Oh, another one.
I fell for the bullshit.
Oh no, not another fucker.
You seem to keep having defections there, Brian. It's a bit weird.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
funny,
not
isn't it?
that. Vinny's
Funny.
not another one. He's
And he's
one of
got
the first
fucking
ones.
COVID as well. You got COVID, have you?
And we want you to know that we accept you. So you can come over anytime, Brian.
Let's not talk about health issues here, please.
No.
Yeah, he'll be part of the fucking deception. Take
Its health issues might be more serious than you think. So maybe shut up.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying, Brian. So if it's night here and the trees out the back of my house are jumping around and looking like they're being blown by the wind, where's the sun doing that?
over my house. Creates
But why is it making
low
wind
pressure.
where I am? Yeah, but why is it making wind when there's no sun here?
Rushes from yours to the lower pressure, doesn't it? It's trying to
Nice.
reverse this truck.
But we see low pressure and high pressure zones right next
Mm.
to each other all
Yeah.
the time in weather systems. And that doesn't necessitate that there is going to be lots of wind between those two areas.
Well, we also see them both at daytime and nighttime, just pointing that out.
For me, I mean, the problem I've got is
daytime
it's not
everywhere.
so much the little sort of wind we get down on the surface, but it's things like the trade winds and the jet stream. Now that's the problem with where Brian's arguing here, is the fact we have a fucking jet stream that's horribly predictable, which will go east, west, west, east, and we know where they are, and we utilise them a lot, and it's got fuck all to do with the sun. Really,
This is true. Yeah.
Nothing. Oh.
So what's your
Well,
view on the
unless you're
jet
talking
stream then,
about
Brian?
what time of the day you're using the jet stream.
Maybe there's giant fans up in the dome.
Oh, that imaginary
Because
invisible
remember,
dome.
according to Dave, it's important when the moon was created for gravity to be a thing. So, throw time in there.
What?
Oh, Dallas Dave was saying earlier that it depends on what time the moon, was ejected from the Earth as it was being formed or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Oh, fuck.
Maybe it's Hamlet's Mill doing it.
So where's fear that hit us? Where did that end up?
Well, it's the jet stream that we're talking about at the moment, Brian, and the fact that it's not really powered by the sun, which kind of screws up your positive claim. And obviously, we don't want to be accused of derailing the conversation onto new topics. So I thought we should keep on this one.
Well, that was an old topic, actually.
Well, that topic that we were discussing like last sentence or two.
No, the one prior to that.
I'm guessing you want to withdraw your claim that it's the sun that powers all the winds then. I'll take your lack of answer as yes, I want to do that, unless you disagree.
The sun heats up the atmosphere, does it not? That atmosphere gets less dense, does it not?
I don't know on your app, but you're on
Getting
yours.
less dense means it would go up. So the more
I'm wondering
dense,
about the jet streams, Brian, which are at very, very
I
consistent.
don't know.
altitudes
I've never
with
looked into
very,
it.
very consistent speed.
But just working into what we do know
bugs up your
is
convection
the
cycle,
sun.
which is what you want to talk about.
The sun warms up the atmosphere, which gets less dense. So the more dense tries to fill the less dense,
So
and
where is the
create
sun,
the
Brian?
winds.
How far away
That's
is the
how
sun?
That's how I understand it.
Is the sun
I don't
inside
even.
the dome or outside the dome?
I don't know what the fuck it is, mate.
How far away is it?
Don't know.
What's
No,
it
I
made of?
can't give you answers. I don't know. I don't
Does
honestly
the
know.
heat come
I don't
from the
even.
sun?
I don't even know if it is a physical thing or whether it's
So
like.
why are you claiming
Oh,
that something that's ephemeral or spiritual is having any sort of physical effect upon the real world around us?
We
Then?
know.
That
We
seems
know
like
it has a
a
physical
really
effect.
weird claim from your point, considering you know nothing about what you're discussing.
We know it has a physical effect, don't we? Because if you go
Do
out
we?
and you get
Well,
fucking
I know
sunburned,
because I hold it to be a large ball of plasma and gas, going through
you
a
can't
fusion
have gas in a
cycle,
vacuum, can you?
producing heat. I'm
Yeah,
fine. I was
you
in the
can.
middle of a sentence before you rudely screamed over me like some sort of stunted child. So I don't have a problem with saying that. I've got a physical object that has the heat coming from it that we can test. We've used spectroscopies to look at what the chemical makeup of it is. I'm happy with all that shit because it's all very consistent. CB, you're right. I did cut him off earlier, and I will definitely look to improve my action. I've tried to be very nice today, to be fair.
Thank you. I'm glad you've seen your wrongdoings.
I own my mistakes, but you try it sometimes.
See, I had this big thing about the sun. How does it speed up when it goes further out to the south? I couldn't get my fucking head round that.
Because it doesn't.
And how I had it explained to me was, you stand in the middle of your room with a torch pointing it at the ceiling, slowly rotate. Shut up. Slowly rotate so the sun is the spot is above you, and then bend the torch down so it then points at the walls. Although you're rotating at exactly the same speed, the spot of light has to speed up because it's going around a larger fucking arc.
That's not really a good example of what the sun does, or you
No.
flatties claim the sun does on a flat Earth, because the torch itself would need to move, not your spot of light, mate. You understand the problem you're doing there? Is you're moving a spot of light, you're not moving the physical torch. So until you do that, you're not really doing a representative experiment or observation.
Where it emanates from, you mean? If it is a focal point.
Well, that's what we see is a focal point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that we can bounce radar and radio waves and other signals off the sun, the fact that we get those same sort of emissions from the sun, the fact that we can measure the radiation off the sun, and we can also look at its chemical makeup of what it's actually made of. These are all established scientific facts.
You bounce some off gas.
Yeah, easy. Do it all the time.
And how do you have gas in a vacuum?
Because we have gravity, Brian, and ionization. So ionization on its own will actually keep gas
So it's
together.
not a vacuum then if it's got gas in it,
I don't think
is
it's a true vacuum, no. Because I think that's something you see, guys, because you want to be pedantic about it.
Well, we don't.
I
It's
don't
what you
really
say.
I don't really say it's a vacuum. I just say it's very, very low pressure.
No, but the alleged experts, NASA, say it's a virtual perfect vacuum. That's what they state.
No, they don't say it's a virtual perfect vacuum at all. I challenge you to find a citation for that. They'll say the vacuum of space is what they'll normally say, because 10 to the negative 1712 for deep space is pretty fucking low. It's 17 zeros past the decimal point. So, you can call it pretty much a vacuum. I don't have a
It's
problem
still
with
not
that.
exactly.
Okay.
Still not exactly zero.
Exactly.
So you had
If it
gas.
were exactly zero, it would be a perfect vacuum, but it's not.
Hold up. So you had gas in the vacuum because of gravity. Where the gravity comes from?
No, you've also ionization percentage. You missed that.
No, forget that. Where the gravity that caused the gas in the vacuum? Where
Because the
that comes from?
ionization collects the clouds together. The clouds themselves have mass. That mass has attractive force for itself. That creates a gravity field. Ergo, it will clump them all together.
So it was the ionization.
Motion will stay in motion unless another force acts upon it. Yeah.
So ionization created the gas in the vacuum then.
No, I didn't say it created it. I said it's what helps it clump together. You should really listen to what people say. Rather
So
than
how much
straw
was
man the fuck out.
ionization and how much was gravity?
What about
But that wouldn't work, Dry.
what about the gravity of the moon if it affects the tides? If the gravity of the moon affects the tides, why wouldn't it affect the atmosphere? It would automatically if it has enough. So the height of the atmosphere is dictated because of the moon.
You guys really want to just find one reason for everything, don't you? Rather than the fact that most answers have nuance and multiple forces acting upon it.
Yeah,
Okay,
and there are
so-
such things as atmospheric tides, David.
So break it down. Which forces, you said ionization and gravity. What's the split between them? 60-40, 50-50, what?
But what metric are you using for that split? What do you mean by that split?
You said that there are multiple forces
What do
that
you mean by
cause.
that split?
What do you mean? I'm
I don't
asking
know what you mean by that split.
how much is the gas
60-40 of
in the
what?
vacuum caused by ionization and how much is caused by gravity?
None of the
Gas isn't caused by either of those things, dude.
Yeah. See, again,
Gas
you're
in
straw manning my
vacuum.
point, because I said that's what helps it clump together, not what creates it. So well done there. Well done for totally.
I didn't say
straw manning
creating
my
the
point.
gas. I said sustaining the
Causes.
gas in the vacuum, causing the gas
Causes.
to
Causal.
remain
Causal
in the
is the
vacuum.
creation event, yeah?
No, causing the gas to remain in the vacuum. The gas in the vacuum.
Well, it's got no
It's not
choice,
just
has it?
gas. Okay? So stop trying to divert to that. My question is, how much is caused by ionization of this sustenance, like the sustaining of the gas in the vacuum? How much is caused by the ionization and how much is caused by the gravity?
How much is caused by the ionization? How much is caused by the gravity? Interesting question.
Yes.
I think that you would have to go and look at physics. I've read a paper
So
on
you
the
have no clue.
ionization
Thank
effect of nebulas, and how that seems to be the initial point to draw them together, and then gravity takes over.
So you have no idea.
No, I don't have no idea. I've just stated an idea, haven't I? So that's totally false and inaccurate percentage. You just
You have no idea. Like how much is attributed to ionization, how much is gravity, at what point gravity takes over, you know, how much gas has been accumulated at, you know, so that gravity takes over. You have no idea. You're just ad hocing this from the get-go.
Just because he doesn't know specifics doesn't mean he has no idea.
Yeah, that's the problem I've got with it. It's just a straw man argument.
So,
putting forward,
in
and
a
it's just,
near
again,
infinite vacuum,
it's taking someone's point and trying to, you know.
How do you know it's near infinite?
Expectations.
How do you know it's near infinite percentage?
because it's constantly expanding, right? So it's, let's say, a huge, vast vacuum, right? And you have these gas particles ubiquitous, you know, homogenized throughout it, because, you know, second law of thermodynamics, right? And then you're saying
Wrong.
that in this vacuum you have ionization, even though all of the gas particles are, you know, spread apart. You have ionization that clumps them together from nothing. Fantastic.
Where'd you get that they were spread apart and homogeneous?
It's homogeneous because all of the gas particles aren't, like, they haven't amassed enough gravity to be together, right? So they've evacuated and they're homogeneous within the space, right? So it's
it seems like
a very low pressure environment. It's a vacuum.
Well, it seems like you're unfamiliar with our model then, because the only time they would have been nearly homogeneous is when they weren't spread apart.
What?
At inflation.
They would be homogeneous when they're not spread apart?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, bro? I'm talking about with the vacuum, man, with the space.
Yeah, the only time that the gases would have been nearly homogeneous is when there wasn't that much space and they were all close together.
No, that's not the case.
Well, how do you figure that?
Because the second law of thermodynamics.
You gonna finish that thought?
It's pretty self-explanatory. The second law of thermodynamics says that they're gonna equalize in the space.
Unless what?
Once they equalize.
Unless what? Continue with that, please. Unless what?
Yeah, unless
there's another bit that goes along with that percentage.
That's the question, though. Where did this ionization come from when they're all equalized? When it's a homogeneous environment?
But hang on.
Where did ionization come from?
While you're creating your
together.
But percentage, while you're creating your straw man, you might as well continue what we really say about the second law of thermodynamics, right? And unless what? They'll spread out unless what?
That's what they'll do. In any closed system, any isolated system, they'll spread out. Is the universe not an isolated system?
Unless there's a force acting, right?
Of course, unless there's constraints. And I'm asking you about this constraint, this ionization. Where'd it come from? How did it happen in an equalized?
Like I asked you once before, at what point, at what distance from an object with mass does the gravitational field cease to exist?
Also,
what
the gases were
gravitational field? You haven't proven it.
The gases were ionized before they were ever not ionized.
So they were already ionized from the get-go, and they've equalized, and now somehow, suddenly, they decide to clump together, even though no ionization, no new ionization has taken place?
So now you're building straw men again.
No, you just said they were ionized from the get-go.
And closer together.
Yeah, so if they're ionized from the get-go, then how are they clumping together after, like, with the second law of thermodynamics?
Irregularities. Irregularities in that early universe allowed those gases to clump together.
So you're saying from the very beginning, the second law of thermodynamics wasn't in effect because ionization prevented it from equalizing. Ionization was the constraint that overpowered the second law of thermodynamics.
They were nearly equalized at the beginning.
And you
This
seem to be
is
misunderstanding the
special
second law of
pleading on a whole
thermodynamics.
level.
You seem to be misunderstanding the second law of thermodynamics. The
No, I
second law
don't.
of
You seem to be
thermodynamics,
wrong.
I'm still talking. The second law of thermodynamics doesn't say that things should spread out evenly. That's not the end of the second law of thermodynamics.
It says they're going to achieve their maximum state of thermal equilibrium, right? When it comes to
that's
gas.
that's not the second
Hold up,
law of
hold up.
thermodynamics.
Yes, it is actually.
No, it's not.
Wow. So they're not. It's not going to strive for a maximum state of thermal equilibrium.
That's not the second law of
I
thermodynamics.
think you need to brush up on your shit, bro.
I think you do.
Oh, my irony meter just broke again.
So sad.
Yeah, no shit, mate. You are indeed.
No, you got like globers here that act like they know shit.
Thermodynamic equilibrium isn't the second law of thermodynamics, dude.
No.
You need to brush up on your
Wow,
thermodynamics.
you seriously have no clue, do you?
You don't. Seriously, you
No,
don't.
for real.
Oh, wow.
Which law of thermodynamics is the law of thermodynamic equilibrium? You might
Dude.
want to go and find that out.
The second law of thermodynamics states that, you know, in any isolated system, there's a definite amount of entropy, right? And that
Right.
entropy will that amount will increase as constraints are removed. The constraints we're talking about right now are ionization and gravity, right? And once those constraints are removed, it'll strive towards a maximum state of thermal equilibrium, a maximum amount or value of thermal equilibrium. Okay.
So at what point in the development? So at what point in the development of the?
Hold up.
So
This is
at what? So no,
indisputable.
you hold on. Let me speak. So at what point in the evolution of the universe did gravity and ionization?
Gravity.
exist?
There is no gravity or ionization that caused this. That's why I'm nailing you down on this bullshit. Now, if you're trying to say that there's no mention of, like, you know, thermodynamic equilibrium in the second law of thermodynamics, you're off your rocker. You need to go back and brush up on your, you know, your classical thermodynamics.
That's actually the
No, I
zero
think it's
law.
you that needs to do that.
Okay, good one.
What did you say, Nick?
Oh, I was saying that was the zeroth law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, that's right.
Like an idiot.
Actually,
what
no,
a
that's
mong.
not. That's
Yes,
not
it
the
is.
zeroth law.
So I feel I backed up my point with good citations. If you've got anything you want to
Zeroth law is basically like cross-referencing. It's
sort of disputes that point.
so hold up, Foolish. Before we move on, the zeroth
Yeah.
law is basically if you have two systems.
I believe Russ
that
was talking
are equal to the third one, then those two systems are equal with each other. That's not what we were talking about. So nice try.
That's what thermodynamic equilibrium is, dude.
That's between two different systems. You genius.
So percentage, I've thrown up two citations supporting my point of view, the argument that I'm putting forward regarding ionization. Do you have anything that counters it from a citation point of view apart from your own opinion, which I don't trust?
Bro, are you serious right now?
Yeah. I don't trust your opinion. I think it's horrible.
You
and very
You
wrong.
have citations that basically reassert your claim, right? That there was ionization to begin with, and then that caused
No, you
gravity.
need to go and look at the abstract of the paper before you start.
Do you have any actual evidence?
Yeah, those papers are evidence.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Also,
The
I was the one talking
reassertions
about
of your
from the
claim.
beginning. He's
It's
talking
proof
about
by
nebula
assertion.
formation, like in the
It's
universe.
fallacious.
So if you don't think a scientific paper is an evidence, fine.
Yeah, I don't
accept
trust
that
scientific
I
papers.
accept that you have no evidence for any of the points you're trying to make. and
What
we can just
evidence? I'm
discuss
not.
it and move on. I feel
What
that
point?
those
My point is that
citations
you don't
are
have evidence yourself. You're the one with the
I
claim,
don't know
bro.
why you're over talking me again, percentage. Do you have a
Because
problem?
I'm correcting you. You said
you can rebut me at the
I
end
have
of my
evidence
point.
for the claims that I make. My
Please, I will
point.
put you back down again because I can't get a word out.
All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Rabbiting on like this. So the point that I'm trying to make is the fact that I've put up two citations. Everybody seems to consider that to be evidence apart from you and other people who worship bullshit. So I'm interested in what positive evidence you have to dispute my point. Do you have
Okay,
any?
first off, you're the one with the positive claim, right? So it's your burden of proof. So you have to provide
Which I
actual
provide.
evidence, not just reassertions of the claim, because that's proof by assertion. That's fallacious. You have to provide actual evidence. You have not done that. I don't have to provide any evidence because I didn't make any claim. All I'm doing is rejecting your claim. Okay? So that's the only point here. I'm rebutting your ass like from Kingdom Come to Wisconsin, man.
But you haven't provided any grounds to reject his claim.
Yes, I did. I just pointed out the illogical nature of it, the fallacies that he employs.
They don't mind using fallacies. They're fine with it.
Not to mention, he hasn't provided evidence. That's the biggest part.
Sure, Jeremy. When you can actually spell the word fallacy, I'll be impressed.
That's a fallacy right there. Acting like I can't spell the word fallacy. That's fucking ad hom attack.
No, an ad hoc attack would be saying your argument is a piece of shit because you're a fucking idiot.
Counting your fallacies again.
The ad hom is not addressing my argument that you like to use fallacies. It's asking me if I can even spell the word fallacy.
Is invalidating your argument through your character.
Yeah, you're saying my character isn't good enough to spell the word fallacy and not addressing the fact that you love to use ad hom.
If you can spell the word fallacy correctly, I'll be impressed. That's an opinion.
So you're not addressing the argument that you love to use fallacies. So you're not going to address the fact that I love to use that you love to use fallacies. You're just going to ask me if I know how to spell the word fallacy.
Yeah, and to be clear, the two fallacies that they used in this argument are proof by assertion, when you just introduced different papers that make the same claim, and prior to that it was what was it? It was special pleading, when they said that at the inception. I think this was maybe PNS that said it, but he said that the second law of thermodynamics from the get-go was overpowered and it just never had a chance to actually act.
Hang on, percentage. Do you think evidence is a fallacy?
No, actual evidence.
Stated he put two pieces of evidence in.
Yeah, but it's not actually evidence. It's just reassertion of the claim. If you can't tell the difference, then that's on you, bro.
Hang on. So something that backs up his claim is just a claim.
If it's words on paper, just reasserting the claim, then yeah, it's just the claim again.
Then how else do you give evidence without using words?
You have video, you have demonstrations.
The statement would be valid in percentages course of law. This is what's so stupid here.
No, you have video, you have demonstrations.
Yeah.
You have, actual video of doing measurements or something like that. Whatever it is.
Yeah, okay. So
it's not my job to prove your guys' claim.
You're trusting numbers now. You're trusting a bunch of ones and zeros to give you the correct digital information you're requesting.
Yeah.
So what's the problem with that?
Well,
yeah,
that's the thing.
I trust data. Yeah.
Okay, well done.
I
Where's
trust
the
data too. I trust the data too.
But there's a caveat. Only in the form of credible
if he's
video.
claiming that the data is false, then he needs to bring evidence to show that the data is false.
If the binary code is part of credible video, is the constituents of credible video, then yeah, I trust that data. We good?
No.
I can accept I don't know if it's a valid study, but to say that I cannot accept this as any form of evidence is ridiculous until he's actually evaluated it. So that's why
I don't need to.
Just hand waving away and dismissing without any reason what's being put in front of him.
I've been involved in academia enough to know to treat it with a grain of salt.
Is that your 2 STEM degrees that you've got?
No, I guess it's more my published research after.
Oh, the one that you can't cite because you reckon it'll dox you.
Exactly.
So you've published something in a public journal, but you can't publish it here.
Yeah, because the published journal, the people don't know me through Discord as being a flat earther. So it won't affect my personal life at all.
What was its name? The journal?
I'm not telling.
See? It's a lie.
Can't even give up the name of the journal.
I can, but I'm not going to.
See, that's why.
Why would I give you guys crumbs?
Yeah.
Because you said you were published.
Sad sacks.
You know how
It's
the
like
Don't
I
worry
wrote a
about it,
book.
okay?
I wrote a book, but I'm not going to tell you who even the ghostwriter was.
so in Jehovah's
I wrote
Witnesses,
Star
they
Wars.
have,
George Lucas just fucking stole.
in Jehovah's Witnesses they have the Watchtower. I wonder if the bullshit religion they have the cesspit, and that's the journal that he was published in. Were you published in the cesspit percentage?
What the fuck is that?
He didn't get it, Truss.
Oh. I thought it was quite good, actually.
I
Oh,
totally
what was the religion you mentioned before?
How can gravity pull and
Did you
push?
say the
at
Mormon
same-
religion?
How can gravity pull and push at the same time?
What does that have
If
to
the,
I'm not pushing.
Very talented.
if the
sorry, what-
moon is the moon affects the tides, how did the
What
Earth
happened?
ever turn into a ball? How did the Earth ever turn into a ball?
What happened here? Wait, what? Have you
If
not
the-
heard this before, David?
David, you drinking again?
No,
If the
he's
moon's gravity-
gatekeeping.
If the moon's gravity affects the tides, how did the Earth ever turn into a ball?
Jake.
It's not a perfect ball, David.